Do people know that when France was experimenting with its first atomic bomb, it was black soldiers they put next to it in the lethal radius to see the effect? Let's bring out the archives. Everything they used against Africa. It's terrible. So, all this needs to be communicated so that young Africans understand, because there are still many asleep who continue to communicate for the imperialists. So, Africans are not capable of developing anything. Africans are not capable of inventing, of innovating, of taking initiatives. That's what we are fighting against. And as long as they continue to see Africans like that, as subhumans who are not capable of thinking, who are not capable of innovating, capable of inventing, we can never be friends. Times have changed. So, it's the very vision they have of black people. They have to stop that, because by treating us like that, it's as if they see black people as subhumans. And that's dangerous. Africa is not just fighting oppression and terrorism. Africa is battling an entrenched system of imperialism designed to keep the continent weak, divided, and dependent. In a gripping interview on RT while in Russia, Captain Ibrahim Traoré fiercely laid bare how foreign powers fuel chaos under the guise of counter-terrorism, using sophisticated tactics and covert support to destabilize African nations. But this isn't a story of victimhood. It's a call to arms. A call for Africans to wake up, organize, and fight back not only with weapons, but with unity, self-reliance, and truth. This interview wouldn't only showcase the bravery of this young leader. You will also get to experience how super intelligent he is. The road to full liberation is long, but leaders like Traoré are proving that the fight has begun. And this time, Africa isn't backing down. Remember to subscribe.
Let's talk a little about security. What is the security situation currently in your country and in the region?
In the region, as you know, the security situation, we are trying to evolve on the battlefield. That's the first thing, because there are several factors at play. On the battlefield, there is progress. If we compare 2023 to today, we have been able to recover many areas that we have pacified. Nevertheless, the enemy is also reinforcing itself. There are many foreign fighters joining the ranks of the terrorists.
Can you clarify what you're talking about?
Yes, the terrorists are reinforced by many foreign fighters who come from elsewhere, who are not Burkinabe. There are also trainers who come from many countries to teach them many techniques.
What is their interest?
It's not terrorism, it's imperialism. Their goal is to keep us in a permanent war so that we cannot develop and continue to lose our resources. And so, they have every interest in bringing specialists in mines to lay various types of mines, explosives, specialists. Today, terrorists use drones to fight, and so on. These are professionals who come from certain countries to teach them. All this is to keep us in a situation of insecurity. But we are taking the measure of the situation. We are adapting to their methods of action, and we will continue the fight until we recover the entire Sahel.
Are there specific countries that finance these fighters?
All imperialist countries finance these fighters. They are numerous. We cannot name them individually. Some are even hidden, unimaginable, but they are numerous.
There are those who are not hidden, who openly declare it. I'm talking about the recent scandal with the support of terrorism in Mali. What is your view on what happened in Mali?
It's unfortunate. They openly declared that they support the terrorists. We have also been able to notice, with a certain number of technologies that the terrorists have been able to have, that they come from them. It's unfortunate, very unfortunate, but still, we don't rely on our fate, and we have taken the measure of the situation. We will fight them, and they will not be able to win. That's the most important thing for us.
How is humanitarian cooperation between Burkina Faso and Russia continuing?
It's continuing very well. There are many exchanges on many aspects. In the field of health, for example, we always have displaced people, and displaced people means complicated sanitary situations. I think the health services are cooperating well to support the humanitarian action services. And as you know, in 2023, Russia donated wheat to Burkina Faso, which was intended for displaced persons. But we promised President Putin that we no longer wish to be supplied with wheat because we will produce wheat. And I stand by that promise because we have started to produce our wheat in quantity to satisfy our needs. So, this means that cooperation in this area is leading us to develop ourselves, to boost many things to fill the gap.
Facing the current geopolitical tensions, especially the trade war between the United States and China, how is Burkina Faso adapting its economic and diplomatic strategy?
This world is in perpetual change. What we see is often madness, and we must stay alert and be able to adapt at any time. And that's very important, because we follow the news. There's an economic battle everywhere, but a priori, we trade with China without any problems. We buy a lot of things from China, and the Chinese also buy a lot of things from us. There are Chinese companies that are setting up in our country, despite the fact that people have tried to denigrate Burkina Faso. It's the same with Russia, currently. So, we are trying to collaborate better with all the countries that are fighting for their economic independence today, because it's a form of oppression by imperialism. Those who are oppressed must unite to face this hegemony. So, a priori, we are adapting to this whole situation.
Mr. President, what is your view on the recent deterioration of relations with Algeria?
You have followed the events, and I think everyone understands how it works. We regret the incident that happened at the Algerian border with the drone they shot down. Let's be clear, it's not friendly. It's not friendly because you don't shoot down a flying device like that when everyone knows the protocol. If a device crosses your border, even if it enters your country, you identify it. Radars allow you to identify it, and you know which country it belongs to. And there are diplomatic relations for that. You contact the embassy and the defense attachés. There are many mechanisms. You contact them, and they can confirm if it's their device or not. If it's in the territory, maybe it needs help, or maybe it has lost its orientation, and so on. Because a device can be in the air, it can have problems with the weather, it has to hide behind the clouds. It happens very often in our countries. So, a device enters, you ask them, they say no, there are many cloud covers, but there is, in any case, a meteorological phenomenon that makes it come to pass. It can have a technical problem, it can ask for help to be guided to land. So there are so many factors that can cause a device to end up in an airspace. You don't shoot down a device systematically. The case happened with us. We often saw an American device that entered our territory, doing reconnaissance and so on. We didn't shoot down the device. We took the trouble to contact the American embassy, who took a few minutes. They confirmed that it was their device, and they cleared the airspace. So, it's a deliberate, unfriendly act to shoot down the device, and it's regrettable.
But if I understand correctly, you're not closing the door to dialogue, are you?
No, leaders must understand that we have no choice but to unite in the face of this so-called terrorism situation, because it's a complex phenomenon. Burkina Faso was sitting in the 2012s, watching Mali. And what were we? The regime in place was friendly with these people. Some even lived in Ouagadougou. Iyad lived in Ouagadougou. That's the reality. But what's happening today? They have turned against us. They are not free people. They are manipulated by imperialists, and they do what they are told to do. So everyone must understand that we must unite to face this. There's no possible negotiation with these people.
Precisely. Let's talk about this unity, this integration that's currently taking place within the AES. Where are we currently?
It's going well, it's evolving. We are in the Confederation, and as I said, there are many things to put in place. We must not try to go too fast and not do it well. So we are going progressively, There are many structures to put in place, many aspects to bring up to standard in the three countries, because you know that, from an economic point of view, we are not at the same level. From a military point of view, there are many aspects to try to balance, and so it requires the establishment of many structures, many meetings, and free movement, which requires a certain number of parameters to be put together. You must have seen that we did a lot of work to come up with a single security document for travel and so on. So it's evolving, it's going very well.
I had a question about the economic aspect. Is the creation of a currency specific to the AES still on the agenda?
Yes, it's necessarily on the agenda, and so the process continues. There are many things, as I would say, many bills to adjust before we get there, but it's necessarily on the agenda. We can't, if we talk about sovereignty, we necessarily need that sovereignty. So, it's imperative.
Can we expect the AES to expand?
Yes, in the future. But for now, as I said, we must harmonize many things ourselves. Really put the foundations in place, because there will be many additional protocols, if you want to see, to harmonize our policies, whether they are diplomatic or economic policies. There are many policies to harmonize before allowing someone to join.
Are there already countries that are interested in your format?
Yes, countries are interested. They could be, I don't know. For now, the president of the federation is the Malian president. He can give his opinion on the matter, but there are countries that are interested.
How do you explain the decline of French influence in the region? Not only in the Sahel, but also in West Africa, for example.
I think they themselves have contributed to the decline of their influence because they have a paternalistic conception of our relations. And you see, when you take everything we do, everything we take as an initiative, it's Russia, and someone speaks, they are influenced by Russia. They close their eyes to everything else. So, Africans are not capable of developing anything. Africans are not capable of inventing, of innovating, of taking initiatives. That's what we are fighting against. And as long as they continue to see Africans like that, as subhumans who are not capable of thinking, who are not capable of innovating, capable of inventing, we can never be friends. Times have changed. So, it's the very vision they have of black people. They have to stop that, because by treating us like that, it's as if they see black people as subhumans. And that's dangerous. They have to change their language.
How does this attitude manifest itself?
Look at their speeches. Look at their speeches. Even the French president, always in his speeches, says young Africans are influenced by Russia. The Western media, you often listen to them. They spend their time lying. And look today at the AES, which is a model that is emerging. They can't go from morning to night without talking about Burkina Faso or talking about the AES. It's impossible for them. And every time they try to send information to divide, to manipulate the youth. But that doesn't work anymore. I think people are quite aware. People have opened their eyes, and all of you are victims of these people. The communication, what they do, what they say about Russia, we know it today. Even today, there are young Africans who still have their eyes closed, who believe their lies, the narrative of the Second World War. I was listening to someone the other day saying that at the end of the war, in the 10 years that followed, if you asked in Europe who won the war, people would say it was Russia. But today, if you ask in Europe who won the war, they will say it was the Westerners. Through communication, they managed to reverse history, and African history too. They schemed everything to pass off lies. And that means that young Africans, some don't even know the history of Africa. What did Africa do? Some don't even know that our grandparents fought, were put at the forefront as cannon fodder, and on their return, they were killed like animals. Do people know that when France was experimenting with its first atomic bomb, it was black soldiers they put next to it in the lethal radius to see the effect? Let's bring out the archives. Everything they used against Africa. It's terrible. So, all this needs to be communicated, so that young Africans understand, because there are still many asleep who continue to communicate for the imperialists. What they are told to say, they do it, perhaps because they are given something, I don't know. But Africans must understand their history, wake up. So that's our fight too.
What is the role of the media in this fight, in your opinion? Independent media.
Media from our countries, you mean? The media should participate a lot in helping us. But you see that even our media, there are some that are imperialist media. They only sit up when European media say something, and they repeat it and emphasize it. There are plenty of media in the country that even fight regimes like our regime and spend their time also telling the same nonsense that Western media tell. But it's shameful if Africans behave like that. It's very shameful. I imagine they must be ashamed to look at themselves in the mirror at night if you are paid to tell lies about black people. It's very serious. So we are raising awareness in Burkina Faso. If you see currently, many media are supporting the dynamic, participating in raising awareness among young people through debates and so on. So that's what we really want for the media.
Do you think our media can also play its role in this fight?
Of course, a lot. You have to play a very important role because, you know, I said it in 2023 in St. Petersburg, and I repeat it again today. Russia helped save the world. Africa helped save the world. It must be said, young people must understand that everything that is told in Hollywood movies is false. It's nothing but lies. It's the same thing. The Vietnam War. Today we see history is distorted, but we must communicate. You see? They don't like me talking. They think I talk too much and so on, so that I shut up, so that they talk, and their version gets across. No, my biggest regret is having spent a good part of my youth listening to radios like RFI and France 24. I was in countries where these radios were closed, but we would get apps, record their news to listen. But after a while, there's a click, and I start to understand that they fill our brains to accept what they want. It's their narrative they want us to learn. And since then, I've started to sort things out, and I've understood that what they are doing is very dangerous. And today, more than ever, I realize that they have conditioned the minds, especially of Africans. So you can participate a lot in awakening the consciousness of young people, so that people understand how the world works, and don't get carried away by these people.
My very last question, just to conclude on a positive note, what are the prospects for relations between Russia and Burkina Faso, especially in the military sphere?
Many prospects for the future, and as I saw with the parade, I think there is very good cooperation, because it's good that currently we are paying for equipment, but we need to develop the military industry, for example. And Russia can contribute a lot. And you know that Russia has many scientists and scholars. The proof, we just left Mendeleev University. They can accompany us a lot in training to also prevail. Because in our country, we have young talents, geniuses, who manage to create things, but they lack the mathematical input, the science to be able to improve what they do. And so Russia can help us a lot in this area. It will help us in the military sphere, in the industrial sphere, because it is machines that make the world go round. And today the technology that is there, whether it's IT and networks, telecommunications and everything, Russia, and we are collaborating a lot on this aspect. So in the future, all these prospects are on the agenda so that we can achieve a certain goal that we desire.
Your Excellency, thank you very much for this very interesting and enriching exchange.
Thank you to you.